I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Joanne Russell. I'm I'm an Indigenous woman. I'm a Kamilaroi and Wiradjuri from New South Wales. I was born in Victoria, but because I'm not a Victorian Aboriginal with my ancestors, I can't do welcome to country. I do acknowledgement to country. First of all, I'd like to say Happy Naidok Week to everyone, the community, my family, my friends, and the wider community. I acknowledge that we're on the land of the Wiradjuri people, the traditional owners of the Wurrung language, and I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Thank you. So today I'm going to be making kangaroo sausage rolls with mountain pepper, saltbush and bush tomatoes. Also I'm going to be making lemon myrtle scones. So first we'll start with the kangaroo meat. Alright, so kangaroo mince you can buy in the supermarkets, Coles, Woolies. Kangaroo meat is very good in protein, very low in cholesterol, so because there's no fat on kangaroos, and it's very good for you. So I've prepared some of this earlier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grate some carrot. So I like to use these nice snacking carrots because they're small, they're very sweet, and I think they're perfect in a sausage roll. So I just grate these over the mince. You can use as much as you want. Well, when you got small carrots, I tend to use the whole thing. So there we go. Put that there. Alright, next I'm going to put a pinch of saltbush. Now I actually go out and collect this myself, and I just hydrate it in the oven. So a pinch of saltbush. You can basically find saltbush anywhere. These are two saltbush plants. We have about 40 in Victoria. So get to know your saltbush plants. Now I'm going to put a bit of mountain pepper. Mountain peppers you'll find up in the Dandenongs, places like that. Anywhere where it's a wet climate you'll find mountain pepper trees. They're huge trees, and the pepper's great from them. It's absolutely beautiful. And then I'm going to put some bush tomato. Bush tomato doesn't grow very well in Victoria, but you can get this online, so it grows better in warmer climates. So a couple of pinches of bush tomato. So bush tomatoes are not like your common tomatoes. They're a small berry, so they're hard. So they're basically just ground up, and that's how we use it as a herb. We don't tend to chew on them as a fruit like you would with your common. So we just mix all that together. Alright, so what I do is, this machine's very handy. It's a sausage roll maker. You can make it in the oven if you wish, or I tend to do it in this. They come out really well, and I can make just one each for my family, and they can have them with, mashed potatoes, sweet potato and veggies. They like it. So I use the oil. I just spray the pan, even though it's a non-stick. I like to put the oil on just in case, it does stick. Alright, and then we cut the sheet in half. Just place it on the pan. Push down, into the crevices. And then take our meat. Now, this is enough for 4 sausage rolls, this amount of meat. When having a party, I would use the whole packet of the kangaroo meat to, you know, make a, it makes about 2 dozen sausage rolls. And then, you know, oh look, everyone loves them. They're delicious, and they're so much better for you than using sausage meat. Kangaroo meat isn't expensive. It's usually about $11 for a kilo pack. So really that's not dear compared to the price of normal mince. So we tend to use that. I use that in a lot of cooking. You can make a spaghetti with it. You can make meatballs, hamburgers, whatever you would normally do with mince, you can do with kangaroo mince. So it's very versatile. And you're not going to get all that fat because, you know, there's no fat in it. Because, hey, has anyone ever seen a fat kangaroo? We haven't, have we? So, yeah, so, you know, there we go. So, alright, I put that in there. Then we're going to put the other half on top. So these sausage roll makers are amazing. That you buy them for about $25. You can get them a bit dearer in other stores, but this one was from Aldi's. Kmart had them. Other big W's had them. So, and then what we do, keep it in there, and it will take 8 minutes to cook. So once your pastries all nice and brown and golden, yeah, you're all ready. So that's our sausage rolls. So, and there we go. And these are ones I prepared earlier. So I've got some fig and date and balsamic chutney. I used to always get the Outback Spirit chutney, but you used to be able to sell that. They used to sell it in Coles. It was the bush tomato chutney, but for some reason they don't sell it anymore. So this is pretty close, and it's nice. So you can have that on your sausage rolls. You can have tomato sauce, whatever you like on a sausage roll. That's what you can have. So yeah, we'll let that cook. Okay, and then I'll wash my hands. Just wash my hands. And we'll prepare some scones for you. So this is a recipe from the Women's Country Society. It has lemonade in it. I know a lot of people go, oh, you're going to make it with lemonade. But I find they turn out so much better with the lemonade. So lemonade and cream. Okay, so this is our lemon myrtle, so that's going to go in. So we're going to do a couple of pinches of that. You can, if you want, I have wattle seed. This is roasted wattle seed. You can also put wattle seed in there. If you want to do a savoury one, you can put the mountain pepper or the bush tomato in it. So it's up to you, you know. There's no sugar in these scones except for the lemonade. You can have it savoury and they still turn out fine. So we have 5 cups of flour. So there's that's probably about 4, so but that's fine. So there we go. Now, a good pinch of salt, not just a tiny pinch, a really good pinch of salt. So just put, probably about a teaspoon in your hand like that. Put that in. Alright, we're going to give it a little sift with our butter knife, because we use butter knives to mix this up. We don't use a spoon or anything else, because it really mixes well when you use a butter knife. So I don't use a sifter. I think you lose too much of the flour in a sifter, so I just mix it up with the knife. Alright, so we make a well in the bottom. And then we pour 1 cup of lemonade. So don't go fancy with the lemonade I buy. Anything, cheap bottle of lemonade. You don't want to pay a fortune for a bottle of lemonade for your scones. They all turn out the same. And then we have 1 cup of cream. There we go, and pour that in. Beautiful. And then now we are just going to mix it all together. So basically we're folding it. We're not actually stirring it. We're just sort of folding the flour, the lemonade and the cream all together until you get a sticky dough. Oh, we forgot something. I had to remind myself, I forgot to put the lemon myrtle in. So alright, we're just going to do good generous pinches. So 2 good generous pinches. So probably, what? A spoonful, teaspoonful? But I think, you know, you put in what you think you want. Same with the wattle seed, same thing. Wattle seed will give your scones a chocolate hazelnut taste, which makes them really delicious. I use wattle seed more than, you know, when it comes to sweets, I use wattle seed for a lot of things. I make a baked cheesecake with the wattle seed. Which is absolutely beautiful, and I make Anzac biscuits, and I put the wattle seed in the Anzac biscuits. I'm starting to collect in the next couple of weeks, once the seeds have developed on the trees, I'll collect my own seed and roast my own wattle seed. Very easy to do. You just put the seeds in a hot fry pan and basically roast them until they start to pop, and then once they're popped, take them out, cool them a little bit, and then put them in a mortar and pestle and just grind them up, and there's your wattle seed. This one I buy, I've always bought my seeds. It's a Bush Tucker website, Bush Tucker food website. They're in, they're in Victoria. I'll get my supply from them. They're Indigenous plants, herbs are a bit pricey if you want a decent sized jar. I tend to just get like these little packets. They came in those little packets. So, you know, if I use something more, I'll buy a big jar. If I use something less, I'll just buy the small packet so I can get a few of them. So there we go. There's our dough. Now we just need a little bit of plain flour. Get this knife out of the way. Just spread a little bit of plain flour on our board. Okay, we'll get that out of the way. And then we'll put our scone dough on the board. Now, we're not going to knead this or anything. All we're going to do is push it down with our hands until we get basically oblong shape. You can still have them pretty thick. You don't have to, you know, have them thin. Right, so sometimes with this recipe, because we've only put 4 cups in, with 5 cups, you usually get about 2 dozen scones. And what I do is, I probably give the family like a dozen, and the other dozen I'll put in the freezer. So they freeze good for about 3 months. And then, you know, you can bring them out whenever you want, put them in the microwave, heat them up. There you go, there's your scones. Now, so I'm not using a cutter, so all I'm using is the knife, cutting them down the centre. If you get the ends, they're look a little bit big, don't worry, just leave them big. We're going to make them rough. Okay, and then cutting them again. Out of the way. So we'll get, hey, we're going to get nice big ones out of this lot. Okay, because you can do them as small as you want, or you can do them as big as you want. It's up to you. Scones are a thing where you just do what you want to do. Okay, however you like them. If you want to cut them in with a scone cutter, go ahead. You know, if you prefer them with a scone cutter, use a scone cutter. You know, I just find this is a real quick and easy way to make scones. You're not fiddling around too much. So just put them on the flour board. Okay, so see how we've got different sizes. You know, I've got one little one at the end here. Hey, but that's no problem. It'll still turn out a good scone. So we just put them on the board, doesn't matter how. So you don't have to spread them out too much or just throw them on the board. Alright, you give the scones in a 220 degree oven for about 10 minutes. Once they brown and they sound hollow, then they're ready. Another trick you can do, I have a deep fryer. I use it for everything. It's the best tool I've ever received as a present. I make them in the deep fryer at 180 for 15 minutes, and they're done. They're beautiful. They're golden. They're delicious. So there's my lemon myrtle scones. So we'll put them in the oven. Just put them over here. Alright, so let's move all this out of the way. Okay. Yeah. What's this? Air fryer. Didn't I say air fryer? What did I say? Deep fryer. Oh, air fryer, sorry. I put them in the air fryer, not the deep fryer. Because then we're going to have fried scones, aren't we? Silly. So, there's some that I prepared earlier. Okay. So, we've got the sausage roll with the chutney. Now, with the scones, hey, you like them with jam, you like them with cream, you can put cream on them. These are some native jams. So we've got the desert quandong jam, and we've got the macadamia nut butter with rainforest plum swirl. So whatever you go, you want strawberry jam, have strawberry jam. Now, a lot of people out there grow lily-pilly trees. Collect your lily-pillies and make yourself some jam. You know, it's absolutely delicious. Another thing, if you want a native chutney, I grow kangaroo apple, and with the kangaroo apple berries you can make a chutney. Now berries have to be orangey red before you can eat them. If they're green, they're poisonous. So always make sure they're orangey red. Make sure you get them before the birds get them, because the birds absolutely love the fruit. So, but they make a beautiful chutney, and you use the kangaroo apple berries other than putting tomatoes in it. Still do your onions, you want to do your raisins or sultanas, use them, but use the berries. So there's a lot of berries out in the wild. Go for walks, you know, get out there in the bush and go for walks. Look up online what an appleberry looks like and have a look. Just go pick them. No one's going to worry if you pick them. So, okay, so do that. Go and make yourself some of that. So, there's our scones with our jam. We can have cream, but I don't have any. With a nice cup of tea or cup of lemon myrtle tea to go with your scones. Okay? And that's my cooking demonstration. So, for the day. So there's a lot of other things you can use. So yeah, just go out there. Get to look at your saltbush. This saltbush grows everywhere under a tree. It grows in bare spaces. Nothing else grows there. If you see this, if you sort of look at the leaves, yeah, what you do, you can actually dry these leaves or you can eat them the way they are. They have a sweet, salty taste. This one is also a saltbush. It's more succulent, has a yellow berry. This is really sweet. The berry on that is beautiful. You do have to get a lot to get a decent feed out of them. Here's another thing I collected yesterday. Chocolate lilies are all in season. So I went out in the bush and I did some harvesting. I only got a few because my children got bored with being with me. Even though they're adults, they tend to get bored with me. So these are the tubers. So I don't know if you can see them. Get a bit close. They're the tubers. So a chocolate lily, the flower is a purple flower. Looks a bit like a star. If you smell it, it smells like chocolate. How I find where they're growing is you're walking through the bush and all of a sudden you can smell the aroma of chocolate. So I know I'm in the right place for the chocolate lilies so I can find them. So the flower looks like chocolate, doesn't taste like chocolate, but you can also use the flower for decoration on cakes or cupcakes and things. They look really pretty. But these are edible, so you can eat these raw. They taste a bit like a potato, or they were roasted up. So the women would go out and collect these and roast them up. Okay, so because the men do the cooking in Aboriginal culture and the women do the hunting and preparing the food. So yeah, you do have to collect a lot of these to to feed your family. But they do have a lot of tubers on one plant. What we tend to do with collecting the chocolate lily bulbs is there's a grandmother, a mother and a baby, which is the daughter. The grandmother is she's sort of a long withered tuber, and the baby is a round plump, and the mother is sort of a young plump long tuber. Now what you do when you're harvesting chocolate lilies, you take the mother and then you put the grandmother and the daughter back. In Aboriginal culture, the grandmother's always the important person, but the grandmother and the daughter will then produce the next mother. So every season, so chocolate lilies are they're blooming between spring and late December. So September to late December. That's when you'll find the chocolate lily. So instead of our people always taking all the tubers and leaving nothing to grow for the next season, we always put those 2 tubers back. So then next season we've got abundance of tubers to dig up. That goes with all our plants. We have a lot of plants that are tubers, and so that's what you do. You take what you need and you put the rest back, and then you've got enough for the next season. So that comes with everything. Now I've got a lamandra here. This is the flower head. Now these were ground up to make flour. So you imagine getting so many of these to grind to get enough flour. But Aboriginal people are the oldest people in the planet to grow, to make pottery, and all the seeds when they were in season, which is September, were all collected and ground up, and then put in these pottery vessels in a hut, and they would be there all year round. So there was always abundance of food. So a lot of things were saved in vessels. Chocolate lilies, same thing, all saved in pottery vessels. So yeah, so really never really ran out of food. So yeah, but that's why we don't always take the whole of the plant. If we saltbush, we won't dig up a whole saltbush and take it to make saltbush. We'll actually just take a little bit, and then enough to, which is enough for me to use for I've had this for probably about 4 or 5 months now. So, and I haven't used that much of it. So, because you only take a little bit. So yeah. So so that's my corking demonstration for the day. So I hope you really enjoyed it. I have a Bush Tucker Facebook page if you want to log on to that to find out a few more things about what I do, because I do different events where we'll do a walk and talk. So you can go out and we can just walk along and I can talk about the benefits of the plants. And yeah, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, follow me on my Facebook page. It's Bush Tucker Walks and Talks. So thank you for having me today. Bye.